All right, welcome back everybody. So in this video I'm going to read and explain the grade and project breakdown document. So you can find that in our module, the week 1 module. So I'm clicking on that here. Grade and project breakdown. To shift the attention away from grades or points, the result, and onto learning and becoming better writers and students, the process, we will not use a traditional grading system in our course. Instead of receiving points or letter grades on projects, students will receive a note of exceptional, ready, or revise, not ready yet. In all cases, except for Major Essay Project 3, students can revise completed projects if they wish to improve their quality or effectiveness. However, if a student receives a note of revise, they must revise, using their own discretion as a writer, my feedback and/or feedback provided by tutors or other readers to make these revisions. While we will not be using a traditional grading system or points, you should be able to keep track of your progress throughout the semester by using this document. So before I continue, I want to provide some context for this. So over the past few years, I've been using this method of assessment in my classes rather than using percentages, or points, or letter grades to denote the quality of each submission. I've devised another way of thinking about it so that we're less focused on the grade and more focused on the process of becoming better writers, which ultimately is what our mission is with this class and college writ large, is to become better students and thinkers, not just to get points so you can have a good grade. So this is my method of addressing that. Now, of course, the college, by the end of the semester, requires that I submit final grades, so I'll get to that in a moment, explain how that will work. But here is a project breakdown. These are all the major essay projects. So as I mentioned in the previous video, we have 3 major essay projects this semester, and each major essay project has 3 drafts. So draft 1, draft 2, and the polished draft, and a cover letter. So you will need to submit all 4 components for Major Essay Project 1, all 4 components for Major Essay Project 2, and Major Essay Project 3 actually has 5 components. This is where the annotated bibliography comes into play that I mentioned in one of the previous videos. So I broke that into 2 components in addition to the 4 components that all the other major essay projects have. So in order for these projects to be considered complete, a student must submit all of the components. Okay, so a student can't choose to skip over one of the drafts just because they missed a deadline or something. That won't work. A student needs to submit all of the components in order for the project to be considered complete. Okay, so that's really important. Now this goes back to my policy on late work. As long as you send me a message before the deadline and we talk about it, we can make alternative arrangements for deadline extensions. So there shouldn't be any excuses for students not to be able to submit all of the components, but that's something to keep in mind. That's really important. Minor projects. So this semester, the reading response questions, those are, we have 15 sets of those for 15 different readings. Those are ongoing throughout the semester. Those are considered minor projects. And then the discussion posts and practice sessions, those are considered minor projects. So it's really important that students are submitting all of those minor projects throughout the semester. Final grade breakdown. So this goes back to what I was talking about, where I need to enter final grades at the end of the semester just because that's the way the college is set up. So if you're aiming to earn an A in the course, this is the criteria that you will need to fulfill. If you're aiming to earn a B in the course, this is the criteria that you would need to fulfill. And on down the line. I'm not going to talk about these because I hope nobody is aiming for those. Active participation here, I have a little asterisk because I have a breakdown of the definition of that. but this is something that I talked about in the syllabus. But active participation means that the student regularly and thoroughly completes weekly activities, readings, and projects by expected deadlines. They're adequately prepared for every class meeting, and they log into Canvas on a regular and frequent basis. Class meeting, we don't actually have class meetings. So this is just meaning that you're adequately prepared each week. You are submitting the work on time thoroughly. It's clear that you're doing the readings, you're logging in on a regular basis, etc. Feedback notes for the breakdown. So I'm sorry, the feedback notes breakdown. Here's how each note is how it breaks down. So for each major essay project, rather than points or grades, students will receive one of these 3 notes. So when I'm done assessing a major essay project, so we'll just use major essay project 1 as an example. When I'm done assessing your polished draft, you will see one of these 3 notes on your draft. So if you receive a note of exceptional, that means the student has surpassed the expectations of the project. Great care has been taken by the student to ensure the piece of writing is exceptional. In terms of quality, the piece of writing stands out from the rest. So in other words, it's clear that the student has really worked hard on this essay. They've taken great care in how they constructed it, how they presented it. It's clear that they are thinking about all the concepts and ideas that we're learning about, whether from Habits of the Creative Mind or otherwise, and they're actually implementing those concepts into their writing. A note of ready, that means the student has met the expectations of the project. There are some concerns that could be addressed in a revision, but overall the piece of writing is effectively composed. And in that case, revision is optional. So if the student thinks based on the feedback that they would like to revise it and resubmit it, hoping to make it an exceptional piece of writing, they have that option. You're able to do that. And I encourage students to try to take advantage of that. And then a note of revise, not ready yet. So just before I continue, it's important not to equate this with any sort of judgment on the quality of the writing. It doesn't equate to any kind of grade, and just because a student might have this on their draft doesn't mean that it's a bad piece of writing. It just means that the student has not met all the expectations of the project. So some key concerns need to be addressed in a revision in order for the project to be considered complete. Revision is not optional in this case. So if a student has this on their draft, that means they need to revise based on that feedback. And like I said, it doesn't mean that it's a bad piece of writing or that it's any kind of judgment on the writing quality necessarily. It just means that there's something in there that needs to be addressed, or maybe a few concerns that need to be addressed in order for the student to meet the expectations of the project. And that provides you with the opportunity to learn from mistakes and to grow as writers. And then upon that resubmission, it's possible that that student can turn that into an exceptional piece of writing. So if you have any questions about this stuff, which I anticipate you will, please send me a message on Canvas, or you can tune into the weekly office hours or send me an email. I'm happy to explain this or address questions for you. Otherwise, I'll catch you all later.